and welcome to Caregiver's Corner. My name is BreJeanna Webb, and I am an occupational therapy assistant, and this is my lovely co-host.
My name is Godette, and I am an occupational therapist. We're here with our special guest, Miss Melissa McCae. She is a licensed clinical social worker who specializes in geriatrics and in the field of healthcare. She has over a decade of experience, so a whole lot of knowledge coming from this one.
I hope so. Yes.
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 So, Melissa,
Thank you.
talk to us.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor. I love that you're doing this. There is such a need. I see it daily with practicing geriatric social work, adult children of older adults, caregivers, relatives. All have so many questions that they need answered and guidance. So I think it's fantastic you're doing this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, our first question,
Mhm.
which I think is a really, really important question, is how do you know when your elderly parent is at the place in life where they need assisted living, long-term care?
Yeah, sure. Extra care that can't be needs that can't be met within the home.
Right.
Time to go to a different place, a different level of care. Well, first I would ask the caregiver, the relative, the loved one, are there signs of physical or cognitive decline that you have noticed or that maybe friends or neighbors have noticed? Is there loneliness in your loved one that may be cured by moving into a community setting? Also, something that kind of gets overlooked is their caregiver burnout? Is taking care of your loved one sort of just becoming overwhelming and you're just not able to really
take care of yourself
anymore? Yeah, exactly. Something that so many caregivers just sort of take for granted, but self-care is so important, especially when you've been caring for a parent or a loved one for a long time.
I tell people all the time, hey, you can't care for yourself, you sure can.
Absolutely. So true. So I would start there. I would ask when your elderly parent or loved one, when was their last comprehensive physical? During that physical, was there a cognitive and depression assessment done? Those are two very important assessments. When was their last vision and hearing evaluation? When was the last review by a physician of their current medications? Things of that nature.
Another thing I think is to pay attention to see if you see bruises. A lot of times seniors may fall and never tell anyone. So probably pay attention to your parent's body.
Yes.
Look for bruises.
Look for those physical signs.
Yes.
That perhaps they're just not they're not managing day-to-day life safely. That is very important. Falls can be an indication, especially more frequent falls can be an indication. Maybe it is time for some extra help. So very important.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
So some, kind of questions that caregivers might have is just after, you see these signs and you're taking these things into account, then what? Like, how do you go about hey, should I go assisted living or should I go long-term care? Which direction am I going with this?
Or can it be managed in the home with maybe hiring some extra help?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's great question. And I do get that question quite often. Again, it goes back to how have they been managing their day-to-day life? Is their home being maintained? Are there groceries in the fridge, in the pantry? Are they keeping their appointments? Things like that are going to be an indication. Also, has there been a decline in continence issues? The severity, just based on severity of need, it's going to help you determine, okay, is it time for mom or dad or loved one to go to assisted living or long-term care, nursing home care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say are some, we talked just now about, looking for things within the home, but what are some specific like safety, like red flags where you're like, okay,
Sure.
I need to make this decision,
Of course. Well, what
or I need help making
help
this
making this
decision.
decision?
Yeah.
Of course. I think what Regina said earlier about, falls. Have there been recent falls? Is that something that could have been prevented, by moving clutter or whatever? Or is this signs of something more serious? Again, going back to, are they managing their day-to-day affairs in the home well? Is there healthy food options? Are they keeping their appointments? Are they taking their medications as directed?
One I can personally think of from my grandparents' experience was bills. My grandfather was behind on a lot of bills until my parents kind of got involved.
Unfortunately, we do see that in some cases where it goes back to not being able to manage your home effectively, and things start to lapse.
So I feel like making this decision is a really delicate balance. You have this person who most of their life they've been independent, right? And so you have the child with these concerns, the adult child with these concerns. And so I'm sure there are situations where the adult child is struggling with, I want to, keep them in their home as long as possible.
Yes.
But in that period of keeping them in their home as long as possible, something possibly really bad can happen. So my question is, like, when are there situations where waiting too long could make things worse?
Absolutely. And this is what I tell everyone just across the board, whether they're already in a facility or thinking about, admission to a facility. Safety first. Safety is paramount. Number one. Top of the list. It has to come first. And unfortunately, feelings may get hurt. Egos damaged. Relationships for a time could be strained, but really the safety of the elderly person has to come first.
Yeah. And really quick, I want to stop a moment and say, if you are receiving value from this conversation, if you would take a moment to like, to share, to subscribe. If you know someone that can benefit from this valuable information, please share with them and suggest that they follow us as well, because our goal is to empower the caregivers out there with answers and solutions to empower them in their journey of being a caregiver. And so I wanted to say that, and I really appreciate you taking this time. Another thing I want to say is, if you have a question, put it in the comments. We can always do a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because there's so many questions, and one of our goals is to, again, give you all solutions. So if you have questions, write it in the comments. That will help us to know what questions are important to you, so that we can address those questions.
So this is more so for just, I guess it's also a cultural question, but a general question. Some cultures, taking care of the elderly in your family is something that's required of you. But there's a lot of guilt that comes in whenever you're thinking about an assisted living or just taking them out of the home. So what advice would you give for someone where that guilt is kicking in because they're just considering playing with the idea?
That is good. Yeah, that's really good. And we do see that in some cultures more than others. But I would say it's pretty common to see that across all cultures. Is there is a sense of guilt about putting mom or dad or loved one in a facility environment. and it goes back again to what I was saying is safety has to be first, paramount. And, if whether that looks like it's, let's move into a facility and have more supervision and more assistance, or maybe getting someone in the home, hired caregiver, or a trusted family member or friend in the home to get more help. Safety has to be number one. And and the guilt feelings will come, and eventually they will go. I can assure you.
Safety over guilt.
Absolutely. Well said.
Safety and a healthy, prolonged life as much as
Healthy,
possible.
prolonged life, living their best life.
Yes.
That's what we want.
At whatever level
they're at whatever level they are. Correct.
So a lot of people, when they're going into this, they've never done it before. They don't know what's what. So can you kind of explain to us what's the difference between assisted living, long-term care, nursing home, in-home care, and all of those? Just, it's too many decisions. They're overwhelming. And where do I start? How do I know how much care my parent needs?
Right. And if you've never done this before, which most haven't, most caregivers have not, then you just have to ask. Just ask the questions. Never hesitate to ask. So that's another reason I think what you ladies are doing here is so great. So
I forgot about memory care.
Memory care. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot out there. So in-home care is kind of self-explanatory. You would just, I typically, when someone is interested in hiring help, I typically suggest they go through an agency, just because those caregivers the agency is employing, there's going to be background checks, they're vetted. It's safer way to go. So that's sort of the self-explanatory one. Where it gets a little complicated is assisted living versus nursing home. And I kind of use nursing home and long-term care facility interchangeably, so you may hear me say one or the other. But the key difference with assisted living and nursing home is the level of care that is provided. So nursing home care, you're going to have that 24/7 nursing supervision / assistance available. More geared towards someone with medical type issues, things that require more medical monitoring. Assisted living is going to focus more on the non-medical help, like your bathing, your dressing. It's for those who are pretty well independent, but need some help with daily tasks, activities of daily living and medication management. But for the most part, they can get themselves to and from the bathroom, get themselves to and from the dining room. So it's less focused on the medical side.
Okay. So tell me, how does memory care differ from traditional assisted living?
Yes. So memory care environments are typically going to be secured. They're going to have more activities geared towards those with advanced dementia. A loved one who maybe forgets where they are and tries to get out of a building. Those are who memory care facilities are geared towards. So they're usually secured units, and staff is going to hopefully keep everything calm and keep a consistent routine, because that's been shown to help people with that moderate to advanced dementia.
Okay. Yeah. So for the people who are like, you know what, I really want to keep mom or dad or my, person at home.
Yeah.
What can you tell them to look forward? They're like, you know what? No, this is the moment. Like what level of care? Because there is a difference,
Sure,
from the ones
of
that you just
course.
said. Like
Sure.
they're like, oh no, I'm adamant on keeping this person at home. Like what risks would you say that they would be taking by keeping them at home?
Uh, well, again, caregiver burnout, really, and it's overlooked so much. Caregivers typically are people who are selfless and don't want to rock the boat. But it's just so important to, when you're thinking about that possibility, hey, I'm going to keep my loved one at home and I'm going to do all of this, that, there may be a time when you need to think about yourself and your own health, mental and physical. And, again, putting the safety of everyone in the home at the top of the list. Is mom or dad going to be safe in the home with me caring for them? Yeah.
Okay.
So to follow up with that, how do you know when in-home care it has reached its peak, so to speak, its limit, when this is kind of gone beyond in-home care?
Right. Well, let me just say this too. In-home care, especially when you're going through an agency, is very expensive. The financial toll that I've heard from people who have used in-home care, it's quite, it can be a strain for sure. But I think it's just different for every individual. And I think there just comes a time when that this is going to be the best thing for everyone, for mom, dad, loved one to go into a facility setting. Yeah.
Well,
you different for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you actually started bringing about my next question, which is finances. you
yeah, the big one. That is
finances, and
that's a big one.
That's a lot of people's main
one.
concerns. So,
and without a doubt, it is.
Yeah,
it really is. The care costs we've seen year by year, they're increasing. I don't see that slowing down. It's expensive. It's expensive to maintain a home. It's expensive to maintain a facility, especially one where 24/7 nursing care is required. So yeah, one of the big questions I get, and you ladies have probably gotten it too, is, will Medicare pay for long-term care or assisted living? And the answer is no. So you're going to see those type of facilities. They're going to be an out-of-pocket cost. There are some long-term care policies, if they were purchased by the person, that can cover some of the costs. It would just depend on that type of policy and what it includes. So, but no, Medicare does not pay for assisted living or long-term care. There is also something called nursing home Medicaid in the state of Texas, and people with financial hardship and medical necessity can sometimes qualify for that nursing home Medicaid. And there's certain facilities that do accept nursing home Medicaid. Quite a few out there that do.
Now, do you know, what's the difference? I hear some terms sometimes, all-inclusive price, and then there is, what is the other one? Level of care price.
Right. And that's going to be, different facilities may offer the level of care price. So say you put mom or dad into an assisted living, and he or she needs a little more help with showering, with toileting. That facility may have a price they charge just based on that level of care that mom or dad needs. Not all facilities offer that. Some, it's just a flat rate. I would say, in my experience, most nursing homes are just a flat monthly rate. They don't have that level of care. But you may see some independent living type or assisted living type facilities that would offer that. They are out there for sure.
So with cost, now let's say we've gotten over the hurdle of getting to, a facility. Now we're looking for private versus semi-private.
Okay.
So, what is the difference?
So many nursing homes do offer that option. Semi-private room, you're potentially going to have a roommate. You're going to be sharing a room. And then private room, if that facility offers it, is usually going to be a higher price involved, but you would not have a roommate. It would be your own private room.
Okay. And you just said price. So
yeah.
What do we how big of a difference are we talking here?
And really quickly, let me say to our audience, we are here in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
So states are different. So the range, and I was going to ask that about that, just that range that you're seeing here in Texas. I'm not sure, but that's a huge question.
Yeah, and you do see quite a range, and it's going to just depend on the facility. It's going to be one of those questions that the caregiver is going to want to ask for sure. Is price. Is this in my price range, my parents' price range, my loved one's price range? And so definitely it's going to be one of your top questions, because if it's out of your price range, you don't even need to go tour the facility. There's no point.
So it's a vast range here.
There are. Yeah, there are. And always going to want to ask that before you even go on the tour. Can I go back to the financial different options?
Absolutely.
People may have something that we forget to bring up sometimes is veterans benefits. And the VA sometimes can offer some help with assisted living, long-term care, or even in-home care. So always good to tap into that if your loved one is a veteran or a surviving spouse of a wartime veteran. Always good to try to tap into those if available. Yeah. They can be very helpful.
Okay, veterans out there, tap into those.
Or surviving spouses of wartime veterans.
Of wartime veterans. So surviving spouses of wartime.
Or active duty.
Or active duty.
Yeah.
Well, at this age, they're probably not active anymore.
Right. No, I would think not.
But they were active
at one time.
Yes. But just tap in and see, no matter what level, if you served in our armed forces, in our military, it never hurts to see what resources that are out there for you and your family.
Absolutely.
I have a question. When you were talking about the care and the price and everything, it came to me that there's a lot of healthcare services here in Houston, Texas. What is the difference between a nursing home and a personal home? Like a personal care home.
Like a residential care home for
residential care
people.
Home, or assisted living home.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm seeing more and more, it seems like I'm seeing more and more of the residential type care homes popping up for a lot of them are just for the geriatric population. And again, the prices are going to vary based on what's offered. I want to say some of those, depending on the number that they can house, may not be as highly regulated or regulated as your traditional nursing home. But they can be a good option for people, especially those of have limited income, because they tend to be less expensive than your traditional assisted living facility or nursing home facility. But again, it's always good to investigate, tour these places, ask questions, look at reviews. You want to always do with anywhere that you're thinking of placing your loved one. You want to look into all of that and be thorough.
And to piggyback off that, to my audience, Crystal and I actually are working on a downloadable PDF for you guys for questions to ask on your tours.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know what to ask when you go to these places. You don't know what to look for when going to these places. So Crystal and I, we're working on a downloadable PDF that you can reach out to us and we will get to you.
And eventually we could possibly put it in the comment section of this video as well, so they can just click on it. Eventually, though.
Eventually, we learn as we grow.
Yes.
Also, we will be doing tours. So a part of our YouTube channel is we will go to facilities and do tours. We will upload the tours. I have a background in real estate, and I used to do a lot of tours in homes. So I'm going to take that background and bring it to what we're doing here and do those tours. And you'll be able to hop on our channel and see some places. If you're here in Houston, Texas, see some places. You will get our honest review of those places. We can't tell you to take your family there, your family member there, or not take your family member there, but we can give you the service of just our personal thoughts and our honest review, and maybe help you create compile a list of places that you would like to go and check out for your loved one.
Yeah. And while we're on those tours as well, outside of, just being able to help them with questions, I'm an aging in place specialist, so I'll also be looking at some of the things that are, going on in the homes that, I could say, okay, this is great. There's a ramp for entrance. There's, the sink is placed in the right area, and, whatever that may be. So I'll also have that input for you as well. So you also know what to look for, once you're taking those tours as well.
Okay, so our next question is, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. Matt, I think you mentioned it, but I'm going to go back and kind of see if we can go a little deeper, which is, does insurance or Medicaid, Medicare cover assisted living and long-term care?
Okay, so no to the Medicare. Medicare will not cover
What do they
assisted
cover?
living. So Medicare, your Part A Medicare, or if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, what that is going to cover is what we call a skilled nursing stay. Typically, it'll cover about 20 days. And then if you're in this skilled nursing environment longer than 20 days, day 21 onward, you would have a copay unless your managed plan covers that copay, or unless you have a great Medicare supplement that could potentially cover all or most of that copay after day 20. So what a skilled stay is basically when you have had a medical issue, a fracture, infection of some type, something that you've been in the hospital for and you were treated for in the hospital, and your hospital team believes that you would benefit from some rehab after the hospital stay, physical therapy, occupational therapy, nursing care, then Medicare would potentially cover that. It's what we call a short stay. It's not going to cover long-term stay. Like if you needed to transition, your loved one needed to transition from that skilled nursing stay to long-term care, Medicare is not going to cover the long-term care portion.
Okay. So speaking of long-term care, then, so what exactly, does long-term care, policies cover, and what should a family member look for in a policy if they want long-term care?
Well, yeah. And from what I hear, those long-term care policies are getting quite expensive too, unless they were bought many, many years ago. They all vary. You really just have to delve into that particular policy and ask the questions. What will they cover? How much per day are they going to cover? Will they cover assisted living? Will they cover nursing home? Again, what rate?
And I would also like to add what's important to that patient or to that
Yes.
person.
Oh, when choosing a long
when
term,
choosing that, because
if they
we've run into
Mhm.
family members where they chose a plan because it covers, good nursing, but then therapy is most important for this person and it doesn't cover
that,
therapy.
so that's a
then
problem.
they
Yeah.
run into this issue where they're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had this great,
Mhm.
policy, and now I'm here thinking I'm going to get some therapy, but
And it's not
I can only
included.
just
Yeah.
stay here and just
Right.
sit.
Good dental
Right.
benefits.
Right.
But it doesn't
But,
cover the
yeah,
functional.
exactly. Yeah.
Sure,
So,
sure. Yeah, so many important things
Mhm.
to think about when you're
Yeah.
choosing. Uh, we're still talking about long-term care policy,
Yeah,
a long-term care policy.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And even what you both said, questions to ask when choosing a Medicare policy if you're not going with traditional Medicare, if you're going with a managed care plan.
Mhm.
These are things to take into account when choosing Medicare Advantage plan if that's the route you're going.
So I'm going to probably take you off course just a little bit
Okay.
because I want to expound on those questions to ask.
Mhm.
Like this time of year, September, October,
Mhm.
November-ish, all of our phones is constantly text about your insurance.
Yes.
Our seniors are harassed
Oh yeah, it's annoying.
about their insurance.
It's annoying.
When they're making those decisions for the upcoming year,
Mhm.
can you just think of maybe possibly some good questions
Mhm.
to really consider to beyond that moment,
Mhm.
so that they can be prepared a
Mhm.
little better and that have a better decision with their insurance?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Um, again, I would encourage the adult child or the family member or the caregiver to assist with their parent or loved one with this decision if there are some signs of dementia, because it can be quite overwhelming just for any of us. So assistance with that during Medicare open enrollment, I strongly encourage that. Assist your loved one with that decision of picking a plan. But yeah, can I keep my same doctors? What will all my medications be covered, or will there be a copay? What is the copay for my medications? If physical or occupational therapy is important, is that covered? If dental is important to you, hearing assessments, eye assessments, ask if that's included. You just want to make sure you're picking the best plan, because in most cases you're stuck with it at least a year. Yeah. I know there's some exceptions, but for the most part you are. This is the plan you're going to have for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play Mythbuster here. So,
That's a good one.
so what are some myths that are kind of floating around out there that families might have, about nursing facilities,
Okay.
assisted
Yeah.
livings, that we can kind of just, tie it up right
Right.
now? Yeah.
True.
Yes.
Just let them know that those things are
Oh
true.
gosh, a huge one. And I think not only the caregiver, the person, the adult child may have, but also the person potentially going into this facility is, I'm going here to die. I'm going here to die. This is
That's
it.
a good one.
And that
That's a
just
really good
couldn't
one.
be further from the truth. You might be going there to live your best life. These places you can find wonderful activities that bring people together, combat loneliness. New relationships can develop, both platonic and romantic.
Yes.
Sometimes you never know.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the end of the road. It can really be so beneficial and to so many people. And I tell all my caregivers, your loved one is going to have a period of adjustment. That's what staff were there to help with that in any way we can, to help the caregiver and the resident of the facility get through that. And I typically say 2 weeks to 2 months for adjustment. I know that's kind of big, but it can take a little time, some
Oh,
longer than others, but
yes,
that's
I
what we're
see
here
that.
for. And you know, we do those depression assessments and cognitive assessments. We want to make it as smooth as possible, but it's always going to be a huge adjustment no matter what.
Yeah, for
Just
both
takes a
parties.
little time for both parties.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I would say lean on the staff, you know, express your concerns to the staff of the facility.
Yeah.
That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, I would say as a therapist,
Mhm.
one myth I hear a lot is that the residents will lose their independence.
Yes.
And that couldn't be further from the truth, okay?
Yes.
My patients will tell you that. Because I think it's the opposite sometimes. At home, you're, you know that that's your loved one, so you wait on them hand and foot.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yep.
when they're in a facility, especially a facility that offers therapy's like, no, let's figure this out.
Right.
Let's actually work on
Our
you being
goal.
more independent. Let's
Yes.
get some goals together and work on them so that you're more
True.
independent. I've had
True.
people bring in their family member in a wheelchair and they're like, oh yeah, my mom or dad hasn't walked in forever, and then they come back like 2 months later and mom's walking on a walker and they're like, wait, what happened? I'm like, she can walk, there's nothing wrong with her, you just wanted to wait on her hand and foot so you could put her in a chair.
She didn't have the right resources.
Yeah, exactly. So
The right challenge.
yeah,
Challenge.
I think that's
When
a
you
big.
get older, if you don't have to do it, you choose not to.
Okay, and we, everybody knows the saying: if you don't use it,
You
you
lose it.
lose it.
Yes.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it can be a wonderful experience, but you just have to remember
Yeah.
there's going to be an adjustment period.
Yeah. Another one I've heard as well is that whenever they come into the just a facility, that they're going to also just lose their social life, which I've seen the opposite happen.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And that is such a good thing to investigate when you are touring different facilities is their activities program, because it can be the cure for so much.
Yeah.
Just getting out, and even if they're not really participatory in the beginning, but just being around others and having that even passive participation, just the just being around others can be so healthy.
And I would say to that mom or dad is your opinion and your input matters.
Yeah.
So if they're having activities that you may not care for, your ideas are important. You may come up with something that's brand new and everybody loves. So understand wherever you end up that you can share things that you like. Your ideas are very valuable, and you may come up with an idea that's the new trend. So
So true.
and don't feel like, oh, I'm stuck with bingo, and I hate bingo.
Yes. Yes.
Mix it up a little.
Mix it up a little. You can share your ideas as well.
Yeah.
So I'll throw that in there.
Yeah. And the social aspect too, if you were once a social butterfly, but now, at home you feel a little bit more isolated. Now you have a chance to be a social butterfly.
Yes. Hey, it can come back full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So again, you all, if you all have any questions, please drop it in the comment below. And I want to say to Melissa, thank you so much for just coming to join us and helping us to understand and helping our audience to get a better understanding. And hopefully something that we said kind of gives you a sigh of relief, a breath of fresh air. And Melissa was able to help you with any information that you were looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you want to see Melissa again, let us know. That's our girl.
Love to come back.
You're reoccurring.
I'm so passionate about this and this field, and trying to offer guidance and an assistance and answer questions whenever I can. So thank you. I love what you're doing, ladies. Keep doing it.
Thank you. That was really, honestly, I knew I had to have you because I can see your genuine love and compassion
Care.
and care
Thank you.
for our
Thank
residents.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I love meeting people who it's not a job.
Yeah.
I love meeting people who this is a ministry, so to speak, for them,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
for
good
this
way to put it. It's
population.
a great
Yeah.
way to put it.
I literally feel like my job is my pulpit every day.
Mhm.
My ministry is to serve the senior population. Um, everybody's not called to that.
No, they're not.
And
And that's okay.
everybody's not
No,
called to that.
okay.
And it's a good thing when you know what you're called to.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a
And
blessing.
I think I can speak for all of us
Yeah.
that we know
Absolutely.
Sure.
that we're
Absolutely.
called to this
Absolutely.
population.
Every day.
When you know, you know.
When
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Because
And when you know it with other people.
You know
Yeah.
that
can
other
tell,
people.
okay,
Oh,
you're
immediately.
supposed to be with them.
Mhm.
You can tell, you
Yeah.
need to find another job.
This may not be your
This
niche.
is not your
Yes,
field.
absolutely.
So again, thank you all for joining us. And this is another episode of Caregiver Compass.
Yes. Thanks for hanging out with us. See y'all later.
Yes, ladies.
Woo!